831, you're on the air. How can I help? 831, your name and where you're calling from?
Hi, Andrew. This is JoJo again. How's it going?
Good, JoJo. How you been?
I'm good. Real exciting times, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm calling in again because I know I called in last week. But the information you brought through yesterday was absolutely fascinating about the banks and, specifically in Cyprus, how a new feminine energy is coming through our money and the economy.
Yep.
And I just, honestly, I guess it was 2 days ago, technically.
Yeah, Tuesday night.
And then yesterday you were on with JP, and I was in the chat room under the Moldavite name, and I was asking you all kinds of questions about it still. And, I'm calling in today just to see, in the theme of this could take a few weeks, this could take a few years to get this shift going. What can we do? What kind of prayers can we say to focus on this economy being a more fair and just system? I'll say for the rest of us, the 99.9999% that, just want to just on this planet and get along and enjoy ourselves.
All right. Honestly, the best thing you can do, the best service you can be to this world right now is healing yourself, is looking at your own life and say, I need to heal this before the change. Break up with a girlfriend, letting it go. Something that was a not so good part of your life or the good parts of your life, and really saying, I honor these moments to heal yourself, to learn a healing skill, because the next phase is really about healing. For every time you heal yourself, you're healing future versions of you by giving yourself more energy to exist in the future that has already had the event. Because that's what's going on now, the struggle for the future and the present. That's why we're in a timeout right now, because they know if we were back in motion, too many of us would dream ourselves into the future and bring back this infinite energy and anchor a moment so that the event can actually happen. See how that works?
Yeah.
Our future selves are empowering us now to make the event, to literally make it, so that the stew has been boiled enough, it's taken off, and everybody gets their serving of it. Okay. That's what's going on here. Do you have any?
Well, with this, just because I've heard a few people calling over the last few shows, and they're exhausted. You're telling them to specifically take the time out, just do nothing, stop searching. And that resonated with me also. Excuse me. And over the last few weeks, I've just been sleeping most of the time. I'll be in the middle of something and be like, just go to bed. And I know that's because a lot of things are happening on higher levels. But is this timeout going to keep going for the next few weeks, or how do we integrate back in now? I know I've been stopped in a way from all the things I thought I needed to do, because what's really pressing, what's really important is this new possibility right now.
Right.
What can we do to actually be in that energy?
Every day, every night you go to sleep, you're in that energy. And what you need to do is bring that energy to your waking self, either by having lucid dreams, or when you wake up in the morning, challenge the autopilot and say, I want to remember. It's like when that alarm clock goes off, you hit it, you go back to sleep and continue your dream, but you got to consciously capable of doing that. So when you're 10 minutes out of your bed and you're getting your day, can you look into your mind and look to that dream world that's still there? Because in a timeout, we still have rules that we can dream. That's the key to understanding here. It's that dream energy. It's our total potential of all infinite self that is teaching you at those moments of how to bring that infinite inspiration into your soul and create with it in a way that really manifests true change in your life and in the soul group's contracts that you have. Again, if you want to do something that's together, start a dream sharing group. Okay, there's a forum over here where you could write down your dreams and share, and you could make sure that forum's other people go and share their dreams in it. Go on YouTube. Or if you're not remembering your dreams now, do something to remember. I've talked about putting salt in a crystal in a bag and putting it over your tailbone and also on the back of your neck. that right there will begin to trigger dreams, but you have to do it. You have to turn that wisdom into knowledge.
Got it.
Okay. Do you have any more questions? That show you heard the other day, that was a pretty incredible show. Is there anything else that sticks out of your mind on that?
Oh, wow. I'm trying to think from my notes. I'm sure I could go into it, but really it was the whole idea that feminine energy being introduced in the economics, and I shared that with a friend. It was interesting. I ran into a friend of mine who's had struggles with money, and in a whole long conversation about all kinds of things. But as soon as I even mentioned that, his eyes lit up. I literally watched, almost 7-year-old man. His eyes lit up like a child when I mentioned, like, hey, Cyprus, people, stood up, said, no, there's new energies coming into our money. He's not into all this esoteric stuff like I am. But as soon as I mentioned that, new energies coming into the money, like his eyes just start glowing. I was blown away. So I know there's something big to this. And I can sense it myself. I mean, it opened me up right away when you said it, and I literally haven't stopped thinking about it for 2 days. So I know there are other great things on that show, but that's what's just kind of sticking out in my mind right now.
When I do shows like that, I'm purposely trying to trigger the homing beacons of other spirits. And your description of that energy and eyes lighting up is exactly that. Many species have a contract till their beacon can't be turned on until something spreads like wildfire and triggers that contract to wake up. And when I speak in that type of connected manner and reveal layers that simply just there's not the consciousness explorers looking into that direction, and as a galactic historian, I can find the spots that they're missing because there's no human energy on it. And then when I looked into Cyprus and I saw how the forces of polarity were tugging at it, and then I saw Earth's Mother's heart wake up underneath Cyprus and literally go into banks and put in the love virus. Because it was literally taking away the monetary system from the two forces. It is saying, no, I, Earth Mother, will control our monetary system of energy. And the first time she's enforced her will through the forces of domination and control. So now all of these other banks that are linked to the energetic system of domination and control are going to have to shore up and be prepared for this love virus that's going to enter them and take away their monetary abilities to control. Cyprus was about the sacred feminine because it was all about the sex slave industry coming out of Russia. And that's what Earth Mother did by changing that energy.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'll listen off air. I got to go. But thank you.
All righty.
That's huge. All right. Bye.
Yeah. 323, Damon, where you calling from?
Hi, Andrew. It's Michelle. I'm calling from New York City.
Hi, Michelle from New York City. How can I help you today?
Well, I have been interested in my soul contract. I've just kind of been asking in meditation. I'm not getting anything. And maybe the Akashics. I'm very flying by the seat of my pants right now. I only have I'm leaving New York for the summer. I've just been kind of guided to do that, and I have.
Okay. How'd you find out about the show?
Actually, the first time I heard you was on Ava's show months ago, and then I just have been following you on Revolution, and I heard the Walking in Energy show, which just blew my mind, and I just resonated with it.
Okay, what I need you to do is tell me about your first 10 minutes of the day. Be as specific as possible when you first woke up. And what I'll do is tune into your infinite dream world, and then I'll get into your finite dream world.
Okay, so what I do when I first wake up and just stay in bed, and I do a protection shield, and I just kind of try and connect with Gaia, with planet Earth, and try and,
Did you dream last night?
I don't remember my dreams. I used to dream proficiently,
I just need to know about when you woke up. Did you rub your eyes? What did you do? Don't tell me about any of the other tangents of what did you do when you actually woke up.
I just wake up. I lay there and maybe just kind of wake up. I don't really know. I don't think I rub my eyes. I don't. I just sort of.
All right. I've tuned into your energies. And right now you're going through the rites of passage right now. There's an old part of you that you need to let go, and the new part of you that's already inside growing. This is like a crab shedding a skin. You ever had soft-shelled crabs?
Yeah.
Well, this is where you're at. You're in your soft shell phase right now, and you've shedded an old shell, and your new shell is growing, but the new shell is growing in the same pattern as you did before. And you're given an option to exert your free will to connect to a new layer of yourself. And this is the spiritual expression that you've been looking for. This is the galactic energies coming in. And you have to understand the contracts that are eliminating you right now are the contracts that are connecting you to the stone people. Do you function with crystals?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Do you have a big collection?
I travel a lot, but yes, I have a lot of selenite. I've got these crystals that I was given by a guide that were found in the bottom of a lake and charged in Giza in the 80s, which are tiny little water. They were double helix water crystals. I have a round one that I use, that I sleep with every night.
All right. Yeah, what I'm going to recommend is you get turquoise in your life.
Okay.
All that other stuff is not aiding you right now. All of that stuff that you're working with, you actually have spirit contracts that are limiting you into that connection of energy. They're trying to keep you in a lower spiritual vibration so that when you grow in your hard shell, those stone people will be enforcing a message. And you need a different message in your spiritual armor, because that's what you're creating right now. Your life has been very, very loud before, and what I'm sensing is many of your situations in your life, when you'd have arguments with people, your empath side would turn on and you would absorb their energy.
Yeah, I've definitely absorbed people's energy. I've been really working on my boundaries on that because I'm
You're in this creating new armor phase, so it's absolutely vital that you be aware of that, because you have basically until about July 15th, July 14th when the energies change, and you have to be done with your spiritual armor phase by then. Otherwise, you're stuck into the old pattern.
No, don't want that. So what do I do? Work with.
What do you do? This is you about getting sunlight first. There's a tremendous lack of sunlight and a tremendous lack of water energy in you.
Oh, I'm going to Florida where it's sunny and water.
All right, well, that's what you need. You need sun, you need water, and you need to find some turquoise. And don't buy small pieces. Buy some bigger size pieces. And they're really not expensive. I recommend people go and use eBay. It is a safe way to buy, and the stones are 1/10 the price of rock shops.
Fantastic. Okay.
Do a search, pay attention to the prices, and you can get some incredible pieces. Right in front of me right now, I have a 2,800 carat ruby. It's not a high quality ruby, but it's still a 2,800 carat ruby. I actually purchased 22 stones that are in that size range, between 300 and 2,200 carats, and they're all rubies, emeralds, and sapphires. If you pay attention, you can get very powerful stones out there, as well as very large pieces of quartz. What I'm going to recommend for you is you're going to do the silver, salt, and sage. We need to get some standard sea salt. Do you cook with sea salt?
Yes.
You're going to put a cup of sea salt in a plastic bag, some pieces of a sage, some leaves off of dried sage, and a crystal, and some silver, salt, sage, and a crystal, all into there. And you're going to put that on your tailbone.
Oh, okay.
Okay, your tailbone is the function of your Kundalini energy, and the function of your Kundalini energy is how you create spiritual armor. It's literally the fountainhead of energy that goes out your crown chakra, and it literally allows the manifestation of the new layer of spiritual armor.
Okay, so I put sea salt, the sage, like smudge stick, sage leaves, and crystal.
A crystal.
Any kind of
Any crystal. Any kind of crystal. You need to do this like yesterday.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do it today. In a plastic bag. Do I
Ziploc bag?
Ziploc?
About a cup of salt.
And a cup of salt, and just lay it on my tailbone.
And you can put it in between your pants, so like the pants hold it in place, or you can put an ace bandage around it, or I know a lot of people put medical tape on it, and when they're not at work, and I tell them as soon as they come home, get as many hours as you can with it.
Okay, great.
You're going to notice a massive difference in your energy.
Is there, like the reptilian tail that sometimes people sort of have? Does that?
No, that has nothing to do with it. Reptilian tail just represents, it's manifested in your DNA, and it's basically a scanning thing that they do. So when people manifest with that, it makes it very easy for them to be found. It means they've completed something during the birth canal phase that allows the tail to grow.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So then I'll do this, and does that mean around if I do this and keep working on myself around after July 15th, I'll be able to start getting my message of what I'm supposed to be doing down here?
Well, right now you have to finish the armor phase. The spiritual entities that are trying to communicate with you are operating again at a very low voltage right now. And that's because there's a big fear that your information stream can be hijacked while they're trying to communicate to you in this training phase where you're in this new armor phase. So they're actually just trying to protect you right now. They're really not trying to fully communicate. And your armor phase began in January 30th. So you've been doing this armoring phase for a while and you haven't gotten it done. And now you're on this manifesting point where you've got a limited amount of time, about 45 days. And then you're going to be finding yourself stuck into another reincarnation pattern.
Okay, I don't want that. So then just
assert free will.
Assert free will all the time. God's sovereign free. Do that all the time. And then be in the water and in the sun.
And the sun.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, I've got another bunch of callers. I'm going to have to let you go. Call again another time.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Bye.
So the Western door of perception. Within that door, it opens up for you to see your dreams, feel your dreams, and know where your dreams need to be put. When I say put, we have a cellular memory. This cellular memory, we don't store our memories in our brain. We store it in the cells of our body. That is its purpose. And the actual skeleton that you have is the biggest data storage device that you have. Your actual skull cap, that which encases your brain, actually has a crystalline structure within the center matrix of the bone, from the way it grows, and that is actually where your actual dreams and hard memories are stored. And the brain is an access machine and uses that. There are times that when you are in an intensive dream and you come out and that data area is completely full, and it must move that information to another part of the body. And after a while, one part is here, one part is there. And that's why you go through these sudden rememberings at times. People will say, oh, I haven't thought about this person in forever, this person forever. It's because the cellular memory became active. There was enough blood flow in a particular area that triggered something that needed to be what I call put back in its place because the code had gotten so long. I liken it to like the Microsoft bloatware that just makes the system run very slow. And the same thing can apply to the concept of the human being, because we are a data processing machine. The skin suit that you wear is the technology. The dreaming world is the infinite energy. The finite energy comes into the body. And where we cross over from our dream world to our physical world is where you can learn about the mechanics of how your dreams are stored. When you learn about the mechanics, you understand that few moments you have in infinity to the point where your conscious mind accepts finite concept is where you're downloading this information from your processing brain and understanding heart into the physical body that your cellular memory is. So that is the ultimate concept about the Western doors. Where is this information being stored in you? What techniques do you need to learn to access it? One of the first techniques is to challenge yourself when you first wake up in the morning. Can you identify if you dream? Can you stay in dream time? Can you hit the snooze button and fall back asleep and continue your dream? When you're in those states, you are processing infinity, quite literally, because your brain is moving at a much significant faster pace, as well as your heart interpreting that understanding, because the brain itself is trying to identify points in space and time. And in infinity, there are no points in space and time in the dream world. The mind creates this world so that it can perceive it and understand it. When you work with Dreamtime societies, they create a foundation for the brain to function in. This is commonly called mapping the pathways of past, present, and future shamans. When they map these pathways, what happens is your soul group has connections to that point. And when you have connections to that point, you're allowed in there to begin the brain perception outside of your body in your dream world so that you can process, learn. This is where you meet your totem guides, your animal medicine, your spirit guides, because they've set up the environment so you can process it, so you can learn communication in that world. That communication is where you're speaking from your heart and your mind is in perfect sync with your heart, because you're in that infinite mode where the heart is connected to the fullness of the spirit world. When you are in a child in the very beginning of your womb, the very first thing that comes forward is your heart as a fetus. Nothing else. Think of that. Your heart is the first thing. Inside the heart is a piece of brain matter, actually, the very first concept of your brain. And as your body expands and you make a spinal column and a head, that little piece of heart separates into two, and a new brain is formed by the time the baby reaches 20 or 30 weeks. So bring that concept. As the dream world infinite you that has found a mother and a father, you've gone in, you start as a heart. As you expand out, your spinal column, your throat chakra, your brain, and your crown chakra are formed, and they're all still linked to your heart. This is the perception of the Western doorway. There are multiple techniques that allow you, when you're in that awake state just after a dream, that can get you back into the dream state. One of those is begin to concentrate and visualize your crown energy. Think of it, everything is settling down to your root. You're going putting all your crown energy into your root chakra, all your third eye energy into your root chakra, your throat into your root chakra, your heart into your root chakra, your solar plexus and your sacred into your root chakra. And it's like tensing a muscle, and that's your dream time muscle. And when you let go, there's this incredible burst of energy that literally puts you back into the dream time in that infinite moment where you can process even more. And much like waves coming in on an ocean, if you learn to do it in sync with the waves of infinity that are coming to you, you can keep yourself anchored into this dream world for much longer. And that's the energies that are coming in from the Western doorway today. The next layer of energy is the ideas and needs manifested of the field of plenty. The field of plenty is the place where in our dream times we plant our spirit crops. It's where we come up with our goals. It's where we process our spiritual contracts. It's where we understand our spiritual contracts with others that are left open from previous lives. Now that's a key, a very key, because if you're here to balance your karma, you're here to let go of these spiritual contracts, in dream time you will have what I call yourself as a secretary saying, here's a list of stuff in your inbox, and your dreams will be metaphors for what's in that inbox. And the field of plenty is how you process these metaphors and then go in dream time and plant seeds. Not physical seeds, in some situations physical seeds, but you plant these seeds in your dream so you have dreams about these individual subjects from that inbox so you can then process the contracts that are behind it. And those contracts are written in the soul form language. And that soul form language is something we all innately understand when we're coming from the infinite point of view in our dream time. The next layer of energy here is what I call the cradle board of life. It is literally our ability to respond to the physical world and the dream world. That ability to respond is reaction and action. So we are in that basic polarity when they're in the cradle board. The cradle board is something that you put a baby in and you tie it into there and you put it over your back or you put it over your front. There are men and women that all carry the baby. The cradle board was the first concept of protecting the baby and taking it as a nomad life. And when it's bonded to your energy, that baby is protected. And the Cradle Board is how do you respond to the baby's cries? How do you respond to the baby's needs? At the same time, the baby is representing your innocent inner child who has hopes and dreams, who has concepts they want to get out. And how do you respond to them? How do you say, all right, I need to play today. I need to let go of this adult time so I can just enjoy the creative force within me. That is the energy that is coming from the South today.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
Yes, I'm one of these who doesn't remember most of my dreams. So here we are talking about my dreams. Lately, what I have been doing is I seem to be dreaming very close to my surface of memory, but I'm still not bringing back most of what's been going on. I seem to be going through an awful lot of discussions all the time. That's probably the major thing recently I'm doing. I marvel at people who dream and remember their dreams. I think that's great. I've come to the conclusion for myself, for some reason, I'm not supposed to remember a good portion of my dreaming. I just am letting it go. Whatever happens, happens. I don't believe that. Well, I was just going to say, I make the intent before I go to sleep. I am asking to remember my dreams and to bring it back. And sometimes I remember little snippets, and that's about it.
Really, for you, I've read you many times, and I know your energy quite well. For you, it's your root chakra. That's what's preventing you from dreaming. For so long in your life, you survived on the bare minimum of Kundalini energy because you were giving it away to the people you were caring for at that time. And your body has gotten used to living on such a low level of Kundalini energy that you can't come back and remember your dream because you've enforced so much muscle memory, so much body remembrance into physical parts of your body. So when you come back from dream time, you don't have any place to put the download of information. So it goes back to the universe, and only the absolute most that you need is left there. And it basically deletes something in your life so that it could have that little snippet there. So really what it's coming out for those people that are really stuck and having a tough time remembering their dreams, it's about clearing out the data packets in your body. And it starts in your root chakra. And some people not only have to clear their root chakra, but their actual feet. And believe it or not, your feet are very important to your dreams because that determines what position you get when you wake up in the dream. It determines your X and Y axis. It determines if you're touching real ground or stuck high above the air falling. So, putting crystals over your tailbone before you fall asleep is very important. Very important. I've recommended the salt, sage, and silver coin and crystal inside a bag and just put it over your tailbone and put some, nice pair of sweatpants on and fall asleep. Just leave it there. Also put one under your neck. That is the one of the best ways I've discovered of clearing out the excess memory that you enforce into your body. If the ego commonly will try to control dreams because dreams represent change. So what it'll do is it'll fill up all the data centers of your body so you have no place left to put it.
Okay. I'll try that and see how that works. I've been sleeping with a crystal, and that's the only thing, new there or different that I have done in that aspect is I have been sleeping with actually 2 crystals recently.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm willing to try. What the heck?
Yeah. A cup of kosher salt, a silver dime if you can find one. It's not necessary, but it adds to the energy. A couple pinches of sage and a crystal and inside a Ziploc bag and stick it between your pants and your shirt.
Does it matter what type of crystal?
Honestly, it doesn't matter at all. You're simply putting it there because you're adding the crystal and the salt. There's two separate crystalline structures. So, and what that does is allows the data to be taken out of your body and being downloaded into the salt. And then the actual extra crystal takes that data and determines how much of this information you truly need, and then compacts it into smaller sources of information so that you can get more data in your body. As the crystal bonds to your body, it literally bonds to your meridian lines and then speaks with your spirit and allows more of your dream energy in, as well as begins the process of reconnecting you to your sacred feminine or your sacred masculine in men's case, so that you can have more kundalini energy production.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll do something and see how that works. Well, the back of my neck is an area that's long-term, and that's probably all interconnected with the same issue then.
Oh, yeah. Well, your kundalini goes up your spine, and a lot of people have a blockage in the back of their neck that just doesn't allow the kundalini to connect to their cerebrum and to their medulla and then into their brain. And when there's that dam of energy, it's got to go somewhere else, so it goes out over the neck and then up over the ears and directly into the crown and bypasses the brain. So you need to figure out a way to stop that, because the bypassing of the brain is what prevents you from remembering. Well,
I see someone was asking about if rings would work with the crystal stones, and I would imagine that would be very good.
Yeah, anything that's silver. It doesn't even matter if it's silver solder, to tell you the truth, as long as it's got some percentage of silver in there.
Yeah.
I just refer to mercury dimes because they're easily getting. They're only $2, $1 in coin store. You get the low-grade ones, they're under $1, and they're 99% silver. Healing is a process, not an event. It's something a lot of people really have to take into their matrix of who they are. You were on a show I did yesterday on Wolf Spirit Radio talking about dreams, and we had some really good discussions about dreams there. So let's talk about dreams for a second, Diane. Did you dream last night?
I may have. Several days ago, you suggested that I do the salt, sage, and silver bags specifically for sleeping, but because I have an issue with my tailbone area, and that has been helping me greatly. What I found now for 2 nights is that once I finally do get to sleep, I am out. So I'm doing some deep sleeping, and at the moment I'm not remembering anything when I wake up.
And it's because you're regenerating your circadian rhythm.
Yes.
It could take 3 to 5 days of solid, hard sleeping to get yourself really back on track of regulating your rhythms.
Yes. So anyhow, that's what I'm in the middle of right now, is redirecting the Kundalini energies, which evidently has been messing my whole system up for a while. So I'm focusing on that.
Think of it, there's just not enough energy to keep the system fully empowered. So what that means is you have to take from the muscle memory. The way I describe it is when you have dreams and it comes for you time to wake up, it has to be stored somewhere. Many people are under the impression that your dreams are stored in your mind. Actually, they're not. Your body stores your dreams because it's part of your dreaming body. When you dream, your body is a part of it. So that disconnect in education takes us to understanding our awake mind also stores information in our body, specific pains or post-traumatic stress issues. It puts them into a part of your body so your mind doesn't have to think about it. So when you go into dream time, you're sharing that dream energy with the traumatic situation. And that's why it's so vitally important to rebalance your body so that your Kundalini energies can push out some of these energies from the awake mind so the dreaming mind has more spots to download into your body. As we get further and further into dreaming, we understand that our hearts are creating our dreams at the same time, and the heart determines where we put these traumatic situations that block us from dreaming.
Well, I certainly can relate to the cellular memory thing, because there have been certain times in my process that I've been going through in the last couple of years where all of a sudden a certain memory it stands out right in front of me. I probably haven't thought of it in 10, 15, 20 years. And it's just like a glaring nightmare in front of me. Mm-hmm. And I came to realize several years ago that truly is cellular memory. Mm-hmm. So those of us who have gone or are going through a toxic time physically, I take it easy on myself and on my body and remind my body that, yes, I understand it's still holding cellular memories that have not been released yet. So in that sense, I'm learning to love and respect my body, because my body has been retaining so much cellular memory that does need to be released.
It's absolutely true. So cellular memory, I'm going to expand on that for a moment. Cellular memory also has your DNA memory in it. There are skills that we are just naturally really good at. Those people that find themselves woodworkers or office workers or whatever it is, that's a cellular memory, a DNA memory that's passed on. As we begin to reshape ourselves out of puberty and into adults, we go through this process where we shape our cellular memory also. And this is where many people get the biggest problems of their life, where they create dis-ease, D-I-S space E-A-S-E, instead of disease. Example, where your neck connects to your shoulders, there are certain types of people that put all their stress there. And it's like if you would go to give them a neck rub, it would be like cement. Or someplace on their legs, or someplace in their calves, or someplace in their shoulders or lower back. That is your cellular memory. That's where you're downloading all of this excess negative energy your brain doesn't want to deal with because it needs to have a clear operating system. I commonly refer to this in computer terms. It's like clearing out your temp files and cookies. But something that people on this radio station will know very well, because sometimes you can't get into the radio station if you haven't cleaned out your temp files or cookies or your history, because you build up this junk that your computer just holds. And that's the same thing with your cellular memory. You build up junk. The silver, salt, and sage in combination allows you to dump out the junk into the salt on the spot that you put it on. And then as you dump it out, you kind of realize some other spot may fill it back up again. And that's why it could take several days to get back into a state where you've literally cleaned out all of your temp files and cookies. And then as you go back into your daily life, if you're not aware that your cellular memory is still programmed that way, it will generate more junk stuff and then put them into the chaotic order of your body. So when we begin that healing process, we're clearing out our temp files, dumping our cookies, and understand that massaging yourself is one of the greatest ways about understanding where you're putting your stress in your body. So frequently do people rub their arms or their shoulders or the neck instinctively because the pain is there, pains that could create headaches or back pain. All of those things can be taken care of with simple massage, deep hot baths, steamed, swimming, exercise. Now, if you're a severe case with injury and that injury requires you to be immobile and you can't go out and do all those things, you can be aware of your energy and bring your consciousness to the wound as well as to the other parts of your body that are overcompensating for the wound. So it could put you in a situation where you could use just your hand on your right thigh and your other hand over your kidney, and you then do it to the opposite side because you're trying to connect the energy of your organs to the energies of your legs, so you can process the energy that's stored inside your thighs, because the thighs store tremendous amounts of fluid, tremendous amounts of toxin, until you're ready to let it go. And as you let that go, you understand you're letting go cellular memory at the same time.
if we have a block in a certain area of our body, eventually these built up both physical and etheric toxins just migrate around the whole body. And we end up getting crippled physically and spiritually at that point. So
Right.
any blocks that we can clear from ourselves and maintain a good energy level, that is the whole secret to the flowing with the good energies that are coming in for us too.
You're absolutely right. And the next layer there is if you ignore those areas that are in pain, that are having issues, it invites parasites in. Some of the parasites have no intention other than just to suck on your energy. There's no sentience to them. And then there are ones that do have sentience, and those become physical attachments, and those attachments become habit patterns in our lives.
And it illustrates again that once we are weakened, then we lay ourselves wide open for all kinds of additional illnesses.
Absolutely. And in your situation, you're trying to clean out not only temporary files and cookies, you're trying to defrag your hard drive at the same time. And you know this process. You know, you move back to where you are to reconnect to your family, and now you're realizing that you've done your healing, and you're going to determine where you're going to go next. So my advice for you is to keep doing the salt and silver and sage on your tailbone and your neck, and then start adding some really hot foot baths. You could just get something, whatever, just buy a regular little foot bath from the drugstore, and begin to use your cedar or your sage or any of the other things that you're smudging your home with, and put those in the water, and start to understand that your feet are a flushing mechanism for energy too. You could sit in a chair with the salt pack on your tailbone, and just bring energy out of your crown chakra into your third eye, into your throat, into your heart, into your sacral chakra and your solar plexus, and into your tailbone where the salt pack is, and then concentrate on that tailbone with the salt pack. And the type of energy that you're going to add there is this swirling energy. And this swirling energy is going to, how do I put this, create a swirling pattern in your energy of your root chakra, and you'll be able to flush energy out of your left leg and right leg. So it'll literally be like a flushing mechanism to get a lot of this stagnant energy or ashy energy out of your body.
So I should visualize it flowing out through my feet is what you're suggesting?
Correct.
Okay, great. And I do have a foot bath. I need to pull it out and use it.
There's all sorts of things that you can put in the foot bath. Let's say you like you said earlier, there's these memories that pop up, and that cellular memory is forcing you to endure this memory that goes through your mind. Let's say you notice that happened in you one day, and you truly want to heal that moment. So what you're going to do is you're going to sit in your chair, get your foot bath, put your whatever essential oils or essence or plants, whatever you're going to put in there, and you're going to bring the energies out of your crown into your root, circulate as much energy in there, and then you're going to say, I'm releasing that cellular memory. I am clearing that from my body. It goes out of my crown, into my sacral, into my root, and out through my feet. And you can literally expel and delete some of these cellular memories that no longer serve you. As you begin to do this, you'll understand that one memory is attached to another memory, and one memory is attached to another, into a network of memories. And you understand that a particular cellular memory was triggered because something psychically happened to you in dream time or in the physical world to bring up that cellular memory to determine if it needs to be released at that moment or if it needs to be learned from.
Words of the wise are coming from you today, and they're all kinds of fashions.
That's right. I have been helping people heal and get energy out for 20 years. If it isn't from the reading, it's from the hands-on healing I do with Reiki or the shows that I do. Each person gets something different out of it, and I can speak to people in layers, and many people begin to understand that. There's even more ways that we can heal ourselves and understand our cellular memory. I've spoken frequently that our dreaming body literally lives inside our organs. where your stomach to your lower intestine, your upper and lower intestine begins, truly where your dreaming body is. It is between your root chakra, sacral chakra, and just a little bit above. So if you know where the chakra systems are, right there in that spot is where your dreaming body exists. It doesn't exist in your head. When you begin to enter a dream state, the energy of your mind and your third eye and your crown go into your heart. And then your heart takes all this energy and goes into the solar plexus. And then from the body. At that point is where literally the human body turns off and there's what's known as paralysis. Your body needs to be in paralysis or you'll be like a dog shaking its arm in dreams and not being able to fully get into dream time. As that energy comes and you go more and more into dream time, the lucid dreaming state that everybody are trying to get is when all of the upper energies of the chakras are in the sacral chakra building up this wave pattern before they go into the root. Right as that time the energies from the root is entering the sacral is entering the sacral chakra is where you have the actual physical mental moment to say, I want to lucid dream. That is how you battle the programming, the autopilot. That is where you bring all of the consciousness of all of your energy chakras plus your into your root. At that point, your root chakra will blossom like a red energy, opening up petals of flowers, open over and over. One petal leads into another, one flower leads into another, another into another, until it creates a prism of energy, just as if a crystal would reflect the light into a prism. That is the beginning of your dream state. At the very beginning of your dream state is where you can shape how you lucid dream and how you make the rules of remembering. You have total control over your cellular memory at that point. It is the time where the programmer comes in and says, the pain in my back needs to be healed. The pain in my feet needs to be healed. The fact that I can't make a relationship with a friend or a lover, that needs to be healed. And as you tell that to the body, you release all of this other mental stress attached with the mind, linked with all of these energies. And then you go deep into the root chakra, and the root chakra comes up off your body like a flower. It's got a stem, and that flower opens up, and then you have dream travel, where you enter dream time, dream worlds. That's truly where any of the lucid dreamers want to go. This is where you look to your cellular memory for your dream time maps, your dream time compass that allows you to see the dream time lighthouses that are out there so you may project your dream time body to those spots and experience those spots with all of your mind.
One thing that comes to mind when you were talking about naturally being free enough to, let's say, do lucid dreaming or astral traveling or whatever, I hear very often where certain people are forcing or trying to force this process by mechanically willing themselves to do certain things. And I think the process that you're talking about is entirely different because you're inferring, as I understand it, a more natural process of how these things evolve within us as we allow them to happen also, but in addition to being properly prepared to experience them. Am I correct?
You are correct. And I actually described the actual process of literally, how do I say it, to enter the dreaming body. If you're a consciousness explorer, what I said of the crown into the third eye into the throat, throat into the heart, unify the solar plexus, down and down and down. That's literally what you do to enter your dreaming state. It's the commonality all of us share.
And so we would start from the crown chakra at during the beginning of dream time and just float down.
During that time that you're saying, I want to be in charge of my dreams, I want to lucid dream, I want to experience more.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
The time that you lay down. As you reach into that sacral chakra, up there is where your body turns off. And that's where a lot of people experience the snapping sound, the ripping noise, because that's their third eye empowering their actual energy body of their dreaming body and emotional body to have the energy to project out like I said, that flower stem that comes out of your stomach and raises into a flower, the petals open up, that literally is the unifying of all of your chakras. That is the mechanics of energy of dream time. And from that point, you go out of that flower.
That is just phenomenal to hear. I've never heard you describe it so simply as what you're saying today. So there must be a reason for us to be hearing it today, too.
There is.
Yes, many of us are getting ready and prepared to become more active dream timers, I guess.
Oh, yeah. And knowing this mechanical process of energy, and I mean mechanical because there are many times cellular memory teaches us the wrong way to enter our dream time, and that's why a lot of people don't remember their dreams. Now, your dreaming body may not have enough energy to leave the body, but it can dream other things into the dreaming body. So in your situation, you don't have enough energy to create the actual stem of the flower to open up. You don't have the energy to do that. But what your energy body still does, it has its radio, it has its internal dream TV, and it can tune in to people that are in its soul family or spirits that are related to its soul family to be teachers. And that's where a lot of people experience this school effect, where it feels like you're in a school being educated or you're having these talky dreams. If you're having lots of dreams that are just conversation over and over again with little image attached to them, that is because you're bringing in all this broadcasting of dream energy from the dream world of 7,333,000,000 people out there, each in separate dream times. And you're looking for your vibratory soul family, your dream soul family, the dream time societies that teach you how to grow that stem to a flower, to get out of your body, to go into those places of the dream world that help empower you with wonderful images and visions of harmony and light, or whatever it is that you're looking for, to bring it back to that flower. That flower closes up naturally. The stem retreats back into the sacral chakra, and then the chakras begin to return from root to sacral, sacral to solar, solar to heart, heart to throat, throat to third eye to crown, recharging all of your energy body. And at that point, the words that the programmer said to the body before the dream time, you get a second chance to reprogram yourself even more. So all of the vision of dream time is there. So you don't have a separation of two worlds. So when you wake up, you could have 2, 3, or 4 hours of perfect recall of everything of the vision.
You know what I'm hearing you also say in a certain manner, that this is the process of how we can correctly reclaim our natural energies, commonly known as the chakra system.
Absolutely.
I think there are a certain number of us who have been questioning the validity of the chakra system as we hear about it these days. And I think you just gave us the key as to how we can properly work within ourselves, clear ourselves up, and all else will come naturally to us for the natural etheric energies that we have a right to be experiencing.
You are a wonderful soul that was able to understand that message and relay it as you interpreted and understood it.
The other thing I want to mention, just in the last 2 days now since I've had my salt sage packet at my tailbone, I am not having the constriction tightness of pain. I definitely have noticed the difference yesterday already.
Mm-hmm. And what that's doing is helping your body literally take away the enforcement of the cellular memory on those pain areas, which stops cyclical swelling.
Yes, I definitely am feeling the difference. So anyone who has a lower spine issue, they might definitely want to try doing a bag of kosher salt or Himalayan. Add some natural sage to it and some silver. For women, I think the silver tends to be jewelry more often than not. The coin is great too. And try it. I just left mine on now 24/7 on my tailbone. It's great.
And then you could also take the most obvious step, which is make sacred space your bed. Grid your bedroom. I've talked about this on many, many shows. And for a real quick understanding, you have a mattress and you have a box spring. In between the mattress, I'm telling you to put silver, salt, and sage, about a half cup of decent quality pink Himalayan salt, a silver dime or anything that has silver in it, and some sage. That right there is going to be your personal tool when you need to get decent dreams. It'll be in between your mattress, and when you want to use it, you pull it out and you put it on the back of your neck. And you allow yourself to fall asleep with that on the back of your neck. And you take a second one. If you really want to get your dream time back, you put a second one over your tailbone, and you have that on your back of your neck and tailbone for as many hours as you can maintain. And you will go to, if those are at the League of Consciousness, you'll see countless numbers of testimonies how this has helped people. Salt is the great neutralizer. Sage is the great remover of the dense energies. And the silver is the antibacterial on both the spiritual and the parasitic spiritual.
That's always such wonderful advice, and I don't think one can repeat it enough for all those new people and new listeners that are coming in. The 3, salt, silver, and sage, that's a really good aspect to begin with straight away for everything and anything. I'm hearing questions about silver and gold. Okay, what's your take on buying silver and gold? I'm sensing something coming. What is it?
Silver is way, way down.
Okay.
If you intend to use the silver, buy it. If you're just a hoarder, there's no point in hoarding any metal.
Right.
If you're not going to use it, don't hoard it. How are you, a person that has never worked gold, going to do with your 25 ounces of gold? If it comes in one bar, are you going to hack it off and give it to a guy and straight to gold? No, you're not. You're going to pay somebody else to do it.
That's right. And when you want to exchange, then, unless that person's taking a direct trade in silver or gold, you're going to have to go and use hierarchical order to then get that monetary value in paper form, so that then you can, so you're still basically using that system in one particular or the other.
So do I recommend people to buy silver for spiritual purposes?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's really cheap right now. You can do some amazing stuff.
You can get some like 20, 50 ounce silver bars and put those over your tailbone. It'll make the salt and silver and sage shit way more powerful when you start doing stuff like that.
And especially when you guys are going through the stuff with the solar flares and stuff like that, working with silver, for example.
Silver coins, wow.
Coins.
Get silver and copper coins.
Yeah.
You know, you can get 20 ounces of copper coins now for really cheap.
Give me a run through. I want you to give us an example. I've got 5 silver bars and I've got 10 silver coins. My body's a mess. I'm spiritually depressed. Go. Tell me what you do. And we've got tuning forks. Tell me what you're going to do.
Okay, hold on just a second. So the first thing, silver, salt, and sage. Well, silver, salt, and sage. If you can get a 10-ounce silver bar, 2 10-ounce silver bars, so it's one's on each side of your tailbone, tape it there. And then put your silver, salt, and sage on top of it.
And so you just put that whole pack just right there
on
around
top
the tailbone.
If you've got copper and silver, combine those together.
What about gold?
If you are at that level of having gold coins, you can do the silver, salt, and sage, but you're better off putting the gold higher up on the spine, where let's say right above the very top of the sacrum. So maybe 2 body widths.
Lumbosacral junction?
Yeah, the lumbosacral junction.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, for most people, it's 2 hand widths above the tailbone.
Yeah. So where you have the dimples, if you have the dimples, maybe then just a 1 hand width above that.
Well, gold over the adrenal glands always.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of understanding of placement and just literally tape them there. You know, if you have a bunch of silver coins, and you want to get really witchy, one coming up time, tape them all over the major points on your neck and your back, the ghost points.
I was just about to say the ghost or the spirit points. That's a good one.
Well, if you have gold coins,
Oh, you can use some amazing stuff. You can go and get something called spirit gum, and this is for actors that put, stuff on their bodies to make it stick. You take the gold coin, you put spirit gum on it, and you stick it to your body, and you whack the tuning fork, and you stick it right on it. You are now using that intense gold frequency at that exact tuning fork frequency, and you can bleed off a tremendous amount of negative energy into that gold coin. Pull it off, put it back in the sun and recharge it, and then put it back on and put sun energy back into it.
And speaking about the tuning forks, that was something that was a real clue when we were practicing some of these alchemical things that we were talking about. And you use the, I keep touching the table. Why is that?
The screen.
Oh, okay. I'll put my hands somewhere else then, because I keep putting my hands on the table. Apparently, it's bouncing your screen. I apologize. I didn't realize that. So basically, you have the tuning forks, and we use the lowest frequency to rattle up and make the dense energy malleable and move. Then we push that out physically with strokes and everything, and then we took the highest and the lightest frequency, and we put that then on the point to imprint it, to make sure that this whatever has just been taken out doesn't come back, had no area or way to re-entangle again with that specific energy or field in your body. That's also really good when you can use those on specific coins as well, and then you can just move them up the spine accordingly or wherever they need to go.
If you want to get super, super witchy, you get a gold coin, a silver coin, a copper coin, and a crystal roughly in the same shape of a coin. And you sandwich them all together. That's the spiritual resonator of the Lemurians. You have that combined frequency in a simple shape. That's where you create mystical stuff.
And then what you can do is you can totally take that, especially if you're working in the urban jungle and you've got to walk amongst the crowds, you've got to go into that icky subway, you just got to go on the bus, and it's just all these people and they're just so asleep and they're just not there, and you can see it. You can take that pack and you can actually create it, and then put it around here by your heart, and then just connect and breathe into that each time, and then really start to emanate so that your shield is reinforced without too much of your own energetic essence having to be involved to do it, so that you can still do a full work day and not be inhibited by people shouting at you on the phone, nasty emails
right now,
and stuff.
I hear people saying, oh, I can't do this. I don't have skills to do that. Well, for those people out there that are negative Nancys, there are
Why
websites.
Nancy? I like the name Nancy.
Well, it
Nancy.
rhymes. It rhymes.
Okay, negative Nancy.
So there are websites out there that will 3D print anything you want. And they'll 3D
That's
print
true.
it in gold, silver, metal, platinum. If you give them a design, they'll print it for the price of the metal.
You showed me that a couple of weeks ago, and I couldn't believe that they actually have that.
So
And it's not even that expensive.
everything you're hearing me describe within your one click away is a way for you to literally make it at the price of the metal. So if you want to hoard metal and do something with it, immediately there are 3D printers that do gold, silver, copper, all combined into one.
Yeah, so you actually have the value there in case you believe that, times are going to end, or the doomsday.
But it's still
preppers.
there. Yeah.
But at least, if you are a doomsday kind of person, please, try and change your point of view. Point number one. But point number two, if you've got all that stuff, use it, play with it, alchemize it, because you're only keeping it there for a rainy day.
At your fingertips.
Exactly.
Does it take a galactic historian to say, hey, there are 3D printer companies out there that say you can convert anything I say into metal? I guess so. I guess it did take that moment.
I don't think these guys have very good marketing, though. I mean, I had never heard of it until you came up with it. I was like, where did you find this? It's incredible.
I was searching. I was searching for a specific process, because I knew that they could 3D print gold, and I found a website that will 3D print everything in any metal.
It's amazing.
They'll even do a plastic that has magnetic resonance to it.
Yeah.
And you can tune the magnetic resonance of what you wanted, the whole piece.
And the beauty of this website was the pricing.
Cheap.
It was, I just couldn't believe it.
Market price.
Oh my God.
Market price
this
gold.
Is affordable.
Market price silver. Yeah.
This is, under $50. Even the fire's exclaiming now.
You had mentioned to me, because I told you before that I was having a difficult time remembering my dreams, and you said something about using salt on the bottom of my coccyx, I guess. And so I did that for 48 hours, actually, and finally ripped it off yesterday. But guess what? I woke up and actually remembered a huge sequence of dreams last night.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
So,
wonderful.
Yeah, it really is. And thank you. I appreciate that. It was really cool. I was really happy to have had that experience.
There are a tremendous amount of people out there who are interested in activating their sacred disciplines and beginning to learn at a different layer of what's going on in the world that's around them. We live in such a unique place in space-time now that ultimately who you are and what you're knowing about yourself is what's going to change you inside yourself. The Living the Mystical Life daily course is helping you to know thyself by getting at the roots of the I am being that was born as the fetus in the mother's womb. Living the Mystical Life daily is also about questioning how the imprintation of archetypical living is brought into you, how you can begin to deprogram, remove, or reshape those concepts that are around it. Each and every day, people make choices. And within choices are choice points, such as activating the separation of densities, which is, I am making this moment recreational, or I'm making this moment sacred. I'm engaging all those things that are coming with being a moment sacred, or I'm in sacred recreation, giving myself joy, happiness. And understand there are cultural rules and taboos that prevent many of us from that are in tough emotional scenarios from getting to that joy in the self, just like the kid at the young age. Each day, each human being gets an infinite amount of choices. We live in a limited point of view. Living the Mystical Life daily is about striving for the unlimited point of view. The obstacles and challenges that everyone has out there, I don't have enough time to do it. I don't have the right space. My mother or father or friends don't understand it. They follow different beliefs. Those are all obstacles people have been facing since the dawn of time, when religion stepped up and said their way is the only way. And individual sovereign beings looked at those that were saying it was the only way and said, sure, go ahead and believe that. But I will continue in my own sovereign self to take within. That is an age-long imprint thousands and thousands of viewers have. Worry of projections from the ancient deep within yourself, from when you were learning what a sovereign being of light was here doing. Each generation learning and relearning from the projections of others, until we reached a point now where it isn't about their projections in any way, shape, or form, for their projections are what is the limitation to that unlimited point of view. The promise of living the mystical life daily, that is ultimately about the bigger choice point. How deep into the level of self-transformation you want to go, how deep in the unique forms of self-change you want to go? How strong do you want to learn and relearn how to love yourself in whole new ways that were never taught to you at your birth? Are you ready to create guided visualizations of the fetus within your heart, to make that the medium into which you can enter a no-time space, to communicate with your higher soul in a direct awareness format, not having to worry about external channels validating your internal dialogue? Living the mystical life daily is about facing obstacles and challenges. For healing thyself is the greatest challenge. Each and every lifetime we are born, each and every time we choose to resolve something in a form of remedy that does not have justice or judgment, driving forth the method of change. The method of change, forced evolution, co-creative natural evolution, and all of those things, the archetypical things that are in between those two polarities. Forced evolution is not inherently bad, and natural co-creative evolution is not necessarily good, because there are beings who have to make choices within choice points to go down the different validation of internal or external processes to get to their internal view of what an unlimited point of view is. The unlimited point of view is about manifesting your will. What is willpower? Now, this is one of those things I'd like for people to really ask willpower questions. Manifest your will. This teaching of manifesting your will is, again, an age-old teaching since the dawn of mysticism itself. There are different forms of will. Will has an agenda behind it or a non-agenda behind it. Defining what an agenda is easy. I'm a spiritual contract resolving being here in this density, manifest, and I'm making choices and say I want that into my frequency. But within that choice of will, does it define wants versus needs? Is it a shadow, an ego thing? Is this thing driven by the true altruistic spirit within? That ultimately determines if the manifestation of will has to go through the exchange of karma with the system for validation of the external source for it to come to your manifestation. The non-agenda side is our lucid frequency that can instantly create something with us through the joy and power of prayer that can feed into our energy frequency so we begin to manifest with words on the paper, music on sheet music, or songs that are created, or the next mystical teaching that's done by whoever has got that flow of unity. Those are the differences and juxtapositions of choice within will. For something to be the divine, co-creative, natural law of one, choice of willpower and direct manifestation, that being is going to need equal co-creation, non-competition, non-hierarchical order, non-separation, and non-duality, those 5 functions, so that they do not need to exchange with the system to validate their manifestation. That's truly the teaching of manifesting your will. Manifesting your will leads to that next greater creation, which is your personal alchemy, your imprint that tells the archetypical world, I am not your archetypical being. I am me, and I am an unpredictable light source that you cannot co-create with. Until I, as the unpredictable source, have my internal validation of what type of external source you are. Are you forced evolution? Are you natural co-creative evolution? Are you karmic resolve? Are you an agenda-based being? Are you an extra density being here as an unentangled observer? Information is the exchange for value here. Understanding what's in your environment. So when you make an alchemy of creation, like a device that assists your 4 corners of your bed so that you can have deep and restful sleep, are you truly creating that alchemy piece with your fullness of power? Have you done the lead up to make yourself clear and sacred? Have you done the actual processes of creation with the fullness of your joy behind it? Knowing full well that those objects of creation are meant there to heal you or do some form of action of the will over long term. Alchemy pieces become our personal chess moves, extra pieces that we have on our energy board to deal with the different flows of energy from the system and the demands that it has at any given moment in space-time.